Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bubby Brister and Friends Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Billy. Nick couldn't join us today. He's being investigated for gambling accusations. Who knows when he'll be back? He better lawyer up. That's all I know. We're going to do a brief episode this week. We're just going to do the box scores, no topics or Fantasy Football Hall of Famer. Want to try and keep the show from going dark, and I did a solo episode of the On the Verge Patreon podcast a few weeks ago, so it's not ideal, but I think I can do it. We'll start with the matchup between the Renegades of Funk versus the Fantasy Football Team. I'm the Fantasy Football Team. I improved to 2-0. Renegades of Funk fell to 0-2. This was a 167 to 144 final. DeMoss lost Isaiah Pacheco for a while. He broke his leg. He had 22 points on 90 yards. Gus Edwards had 11 points on 59 yards for the Chargers. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 11 catches, 119 yards, 22 points. Devontae Adams, 26 points. But Dave, you took a 0 from your tight end. Evan Ingram, he didn't play. That's no good. You had Isaiah Likely on your bench. He would have given you 4 points, so you still would have lost. No harm, no foul. Derek Carr is a thing. Renegades of Funk has a quarterback controversy on their hands. I'm not a Brock Purdy guy at all for fantasy purposes, and Derek Carr is doing some things with the Saints that he's never done before. We'll see if he can keep that pace up. He took a -10 from the Lions head coach. Had he gotten that victory, that would have made it 167 to 164. And had he played Isaiah Likely, he would have won this game 168 to 167. That's a fail, Dave. No other way to put it. Devon Achane, 36 points, 96 yards, receiving touchdown, and the Dolphins lost to Buffalo on Thursday Night Football. Brian Robinson, 133 yards on 17 carries. Only one catch, though. But Brian Robinson is paying off big. Cooper Kupp, I got way too excited after his big week one and Nakua's injury. He's hurt. Who knows when he'll be back. He's probably out a minimum of a month. He's avoided the IR so far. Mike Gesicki, I don't know why nobody was taking him in fantasy leagues. And that's just not this league. This is across all fantasy leagues in America. He was owned in 2% of leagues coming out of the draft. He is now up to 22%. He's going to be solid. Joe Burrow is going to love him. He's a huge, big target, an offense that throws the ball. They don't have a running game so far. He had 7 catches, 91 yards, 16 points. Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin is the #1 fantasy wide receiver in our league. He is doing great. 7 catches, 8 targets, 117 for a touchdown. He's had 46 points in 2 weeks. Looking like a steal so far. Houston head coach won. Christian Watson got a 0. I dumped his ass already. He has some intriguing deep ball skills, but he's buried on that depth chart. Brock Bowers, I'm going to have to start playing him. 9 catches, 98 yards, 18 points. Field Yates called him a league winner. That seems a little far. Field Yates is a little punk, if you ask me. But, yeah, I couldn't be more thrilled with that draft pick so far. See how he does when I play him this week for the first time. On to the next game. Tampa Bay Punishers versus Smash Hawks. Smash Hawks just smashing people still. 179, 111. He won't quit. Big matchup this week between Billy and Smash Hawk. They're both 2-0, the top 2 teams in the league. Not much went right for Hine here. Ayuk 8, Jacoby Myers 6, Colby Parkinson had 2, Chuba Hubbard 15. That's pretty good. Panthers don't really have anybody worth getting excited about. Hubbard had 4 catches for 12 yards, 10 carries for 64 yards. Miles Sanders seems like a total afterthought. Keenan Allen with a 0 on the bench. He is not off to a good start. He might be losing his battle with Father Time. Smash Hawk, though, CJ Stroud, a solid 20. Kyron Williams, a solid 18. Only 25 rushing yards, though. He has 30 carries for 75 yards. 2 touchdowns, though, but that yards per carry for Kyron Williams is not good so far. Kamara, 4 touchdowns, 51 points. That might be the highest scoring game of the year for an individual player. Saints just rolled Dallas. Rashee Rice, another big game. 5 catches, 75 yards, touchdown, 18 points. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 12 catches, 117, 23 points against the Patriots. Who knows what to expect from him, but good things from the second-year receiver. If Smash Hawk drafted him, you know he's good. Smash Hawk wasn't playing around last year. Dallas Goedert, 3 catches, 38 yards, 6 points. Demarcus Robinson in the flex spot. He's going to start playing now with Nakua and Cooper Kupp out. They got to throw the ball to somebody. Fantasy special teams for Smash Hawk, 36 points compared to Punisher's 21. A winning head coach, a double-digit kicker, a double-digit defense. Kyler Murray, 37 points on the bench. You might have to start playing him. I mean, Matthew Berry named him the ride or die. So far, so good for that call. We are moving on to Spawn versus Brandon. Joe Mixon got injured. He took a drop hip tackle. That's tough stuff, especially after his big game in week 1. 9 points for Mixon in this one. Joe Burrow, 25 points, 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, 4 catches, 133 yards, and a touchdown. Oh, man. Spawn taking hits. Mixon, Debo, and Kittle are all out this week. They combined for 48 points in this one. Jerry Jeudy, 12 points, 5 catches, 73 yards. He's probably going to be the number 1 receiver for the Browns this year. Nothing doing on the bench. And Kenneth Walker missed last week. Rob's got some injury problems. Fields, a boring 15 points. Steelers are going to neuter Justin Fields. He's a fantasy beast when he's running wild, but the Steelers aren't going to let him do it. Jonathan Taylor, a solid 19 points, 103 rushing yards against Green Bay for the Colts. They gave him 12 carries. James Cook, 3 touchdowns for the Bills against the Dolphins. Stephon Diggs, 4 catches, 37 yards. Not much there in a defensive battle against the Bears. DK Metcalf, Seahawks receivers this week weren't messing around. DK, 10 catches, 129 yards, and a touchdown. Pat Freiermuth, nothing. Pickens, nothing. Chris Boswell, 9. Yeah, that's it. Both teams go to 1-1. We're on to the New Day Co-op versus Dead Money. New Day Co-op came 1 point shy of the high point. Smash Hawk got it 179. New Day had 178 here. Dead Money falls to 0-2. Kirk Cousins, 25. Breece Hall, 28. Josh Jacobs, 25. Nico Collins, 27. Zay Flowers, 22. Trey McBride, 18. The only blemish on New Day's starting lineup is Brandon Cooks with 3. You figure they should have been able to throw the ball. Dallas versus Saints after going down so big, but that's nitpicking. Tajee Spears, 7 points. He's since been dropped and claimed by Lionheart. Trevor Lawrence, another dud, but this was on the bench. He might be droppable. The Jaguars are a joke as usual. They're just never going to break through. 14 points from Dead Money for Anthony Richardson. 3 interceptions. In week 1, Richardson had 9 completions. It's easy to get excited about Anthony Richardson, but you got to remember he's only going to be making his 6th career start in week 3 for the Colts. Tony Pollard, 21 points, 62 yards. Zach Charbonnet, he might be heading back to the bench if Kenneth Walker is ready to return this week. But Charbonnet shines anytime he gets an opportunity. He's a good guy to have on your bench. Tyreek Hill, 3 catches, 24 yards, 6 points. He's going to have a tough go without Tua throwing him the ball. Marvin Harrison Jr., breakout game. He was my disappointing player of the week last week. Yeah, that's forgotten now. 4 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, 29 points. Taysom Hill, Dave, what are you doing? I can't believe you're still playing Taysom Hill. Chris Olave, 4 catches, 81 yards. Olave has no touchdowns so far in the season with the Saints scoring like 14 touchdowns. The Saints have scored on every possession, a touchdown on every possession this season. 2 has been dropped. He'll probably never play again. So that takes us to our 5th matchup of the week. Nakua Matata versus Buck What You Think. Jones versus Nick. Nakua wins this one 128 to 119. Both teams are 1-1. Jones, you need a new team name. Puka Nakua is not even on your team. Bring back the trombones. Do something. Your team name. Come on, I know you're better than this. Jalen Hurts, 31 points, 2 touchdowns, a pick. Ramondre Stevenson, 24 points, 81 yards, touchdown. Patriots can't do much, but they can't run the ball. Najee Harris, Pittsburgh's just going to feed him. 13 points. Jamar Chase, shut down by the Chiefs in their heartbreaking loss. Michael Pittman Jr., another dud. He is the 61st ranked receiver. So far in the season, he has 7 catches for 52 yards and 12 fantasy points. Yikes. Zach Ertz, 10 points for the Commies. Love it. Lad McConkey, a dud, 4 points. 34 special teams points to 30 in this game. That was decided by less than 10 points. Mostert out. He's going to be out again. Just somebody I wanted to avoid at draft time. Drafting him 80th isn't bad, though. He's only owned in 78% of leagues. People are cutting bait on Mostert. DeAndre Hopkins, 1 catch, 9 yards. Bad Titans offense. Old receiver. It's going to be a sad end for DeAndre Hopkins this year. And Njoku missed the game. Bo Nix, 11 points on the bench. Not sure what you're doing with him. Baker Mayfield, 23 points, 2 more touchdowns. Rachaad White, though, I wish Nick were on the show so we could ask him what his panic meter is on Rachaad White. Bucky Irving is getting some work now. Jerome Ford, 64 yards, 9 points. A lot of single digits here for Nick. J.K. Dobbins, another monster game, though. 131 and a touchdown, 26 points. 17 carries. If he could stay healthy, he's gonna win some games. Ridley, 24 points. If Nick plays Ridley over, we can't even say that. He's not going to play Ridley over Wilson or Evans. I guess if he plays Ridley over Jerome Ford and moves Dobbins to the RB2, Nick wins this game. Rashid Shaheed, 4 catches, 96 yards, 20 points on the bench. He's a thing. He's one of those guys, though. He's not going to really help you PPR-wise, but if he can catch 1 home run ball, he can do some damage. 7 catches, 170 yards on the season, 2 touchdowns, 36 fantasy points. Rashid Shaheed is the 11th ranked fantasy wide receiver so far in the season. Our 6th matchup, stealing the wins versus Jordan DeMoss, 126-111 for Jordan. He improves to 2-0. Jordan has 254 points total on the season, and he's 2-0. Freeman has 250 points on the season. He's 0-2. So it's a thin line. Patrick Mahomes, 19 points. James Conner, 122 and a touchdown. The Cardinals seem like they might be better than I thought, at least. Jordan Mason. Nick, I wish you were here again. I called him a breakout player. You said I went too far. Another 100-yard game, 25 points, 20 carries. Christian McCaffrey, there's a rumor he might be out up until week 10. Who knows if that's true? But Jordan Mason is going to win some people some leagues. You don't get a first-round pick on a waiver claim too often. Cortland Sutton, a dud. Broncos offense is... Fuck Sean Payton. 3 points for Sutton. Josh Palmer is injured. Listen, is questionable for this week. He did not do good in this game. 3 points. He's the 89th ranked receiver. Travis Kelce, yikes, 1 point. Didn't harm him, though. He still won. 2 tight ends again for Jordan, 2 weeks in a row. It's too early in the season for that. Cameron Dicker, 9 points from the kicker spot. L. McPherson, 15 points for Art's kicker spot. See if there's a path to victory here for Art. Well, you're not going to play Geno over Dak. But Geno, 327 yards passing, touchdown, 26 points on the bench. Yeah, no real path to victory here. Kyle Pitts, another disappointing game. 3 catches, 20 yards, 5 points. Jalen Waddle, same thing with Tyreek. He's going to really struggle without Tua. Drake London, finally, 17 points, 6 catches, 54 yards, touchdown. I think he's going to have a breakout year. We'll see. Not a good week 1, but a solid week 2. Aaron Jones looks very weird in the Vikings uniform. 32 yards. He did fumble, 11 points. So if Aaron Jones does not fumble... No, he still will lost. Saquon Barkley, big drop. If Saquon makes that catch, Aaron Jones doesn't fumble, and Art plays a winning head coach, he might have won. That's a lot of what-ifs, though. And our last game, Sweetness 34 versus Lionheart. Lionheart wins this one 113 to 103. Heater falls to 0-2. Heater played Jake Ferguson, who missed the game with an injury. Not good, man. If you play Johnny Munt and you take his 3 points and your head coach wins, you win this game 116 to 113. So don't leave injured players on your bench. Brandon Aubrey, 17 points from the kicker spot, 24 points from the Buffalo defense for Heater in the loss. Rome Odunze. I mean, the Bears can't throw the ball and they can't protect Caleb Williams, so I don't know. He'll figure it out eventually, but it's going to take a while. Amari Cooper, 3 catches, 11 yards, 4 points. Devontae Smith, 7 catches, 76 yards, touchdown with A.J. Brown out. He's going to have some big weeks as long as Brown is out. DeAndre Swift, 11 points, but he only had 18 yards. He has 48 rushing yards in 2 games on 24 carries. He's averaging 2 yards a carry. I'm going to wrap this up soon. For Brindle's Lionheart, Jared Goff, 14 points, 307 yards, 2 picks, so no touchdowns. The Lions lost to the Bucks. They only scored 16 points. Jahmyr Gibbs, 21 points. Ezekiel Elliott, 6 carries, 16 yards, 6 points. If Dallas isn't leading, Ezekiel Elliott is not going to help you. Malik Neighbors' breakout game, 10 catches, 127 yards, and a touchdown. Jamison Williams continues his breakout, 5 catches, 79 yards, 13 points. Sam Laporta, disappointing 2 for 13, but tight ends, you really can't expect too much. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs combined for 41 points for Brindle. Playing 2 running backs from the same team doesn't work out too often, but Gibbs and Montgomery are 2 guys you can get away with that. The Baltimore defense, 8 points. How they lost to the Raiders is abominable. Yeah, that's it. Stafford, 9 points on the bench. Thielen since dropped, 2 catches, 20 yards. He might be better with Andy Dalton now, though. Maybe a premature drop. And that is it. No Fantasy Hall of Famer this week. What's the fun of doing that? I'm by myself. Thanks for listening. Hopefully we'll be back with 2 people next week because I'm not going to do a solo show by myself too often. I'm just trying to get us through the week and keep this ball up in the air. Thanks for listening, everybody. Good luck this week. All right. Take it easy.